What we have here is a great big laydown tree. You can see the root ball, it eroded, the bank let go of it, it fell in the lake. Prime structure for a big old bass. I start off with a active type lure like a spinnerbait or a crankbait, and I throw around the edges of it. A lot of time the actively feeding fish will grab your bait and catch a few fish before they even know you're there. So I'll make maybe a half dozen casts around the edges of it, look for those active ones. Once I've kind of fished it out with that, I move in closer. I'll get closer to the limbs, and I try to pick apart every part of the tree where a limb attaches to the main trunk. Get into the shade, use a worm or a shaky head, fish really slowly. You can catch a few extra fish. A lot of times I catch my very biggest fish with that technique as well. Anytime you're fishing a river or a stream, current really dictates where the fish sit. They like to sit behind a current break, whether it's a boulder, a clump of grass, a lay down, or like we have, a jetty here, and that blocks the current. They sit there with their nose facing into the current, waiting for prey to come down to them. The key is to make your lure look like a bait fish. Cast it upstream like we're doing, face into the current, cast upstream and bring it right on the edge of that current break. So I bring it right off the tip of this jetty. When it comes by, the fish have their nose into the current, they're gonna be looking for it. That's how you're gonna get a lot of bites. What you see in front of me is a classic main lake point. Every creek on the lake is gonna have 2 points, one on the entrance on both sides. Now you can also fish the smaller points inside the creeks, but really the main lake points, year-round, always have fish on them. I'll look for a cover on them, like this one has a big rock off the end. You see that lay down out there, those can be key spots. But really I'll start about 20 yards on either side of a point, fish all the way around it, and try to catch fish off it. Whether you're fishing from a boat or from the shore, boat docks always hold bass. They provide protection for the bait fish, for little bluegill, all the things that bass eat, the shade, they love to lurk around there, especially on sunny days. I typically start with either a crankbait or a spinnerbait. A lot of the fish will suspend under the floating parts of the dock, so they'll be up near the surface. Those moving baits towards the top, you can catch the active fish. Just like the laydowns, if you throw a worm in there or a shaky head, you'll also catch bigger fish that lurk at the bottom. Another classic place to find bass quickly is riprap. Anytime you're in a lake, a reservoir where there's a bunch of rock dumped around marinas and dams, along roads, it's a great place to find them. You find crawdads and bait fish and the bass follow. One tip I'll give you, if you're fishing from the shore like I am, instead of casting straight out into the main lake, cast a parallel to the dam or the riprap. If you're in a boat, instead of casting straight into it, get along and cast parallel again. Instead of being in that really deep water, once you get away from the rocks, if you stay close to the bank, you're gonna keep it in that key area that whole time. So cast it parallel to the rocks and bring it right back along it. You'll crawl up and over the rocks the whole cast. That's where the fish lurk. You catch a lot of big ones that way. For more great fishing videos, check out boyslife.org.